You think you've tasted bitter, right? Like really bitter grapefruit or maybe some greens.
Sure, we all have that reference
Well,
point.
forget that because I came across something that just completely resets the scale. Apparently, the world's most bitter substance. It's not what you'd expect.
Oh, not a fruit or anything like that?
Nope, it's actually a mushroom.
A mushroom? Boy, that is unexpected. Usually you think of plants for those really intense compounds.
Exactly. So that's what we're diving into today. This specific mushroom, Amaropostia stiptica.
The bitter bracket fungus.
Right.
We're going to try and figure out what makes it so intensely bitter. Our main info comes from food researchers at the Technical University of Munich.
And that work's been picked up by the BBC, also published in the Journal of Agricultural and Food Chemistry, so it's solid stuff.
Definitely. And our mission really is to unpack the science here for you. Why is it so bitter? What does this discovery actually mean?
And maybe what it teaches us about our own sense of taste, which is pretty fundamental. Okay, so Amaropostia stiptica. Sounds a bit exotic, but the reports say it's actually pretty common. Like you can find it widely in Britain.
That's right. It's not some rare hidden thing.
And here's the kicker. Despite being the most bitter thing known, it's apparently non-toxic.
Which is fascinating, isn't it? Because usually extreme bitterness is a warning sign. Don't eat me, I'm poisonous.
Exactly. So if it's not poison, why be that bitter? It makes you wonder.
Yeah, what's the evolutionary or biological point? Maybe it's involved in something else entirely within the fungus. Defense against microbes, perhaps? Or just a chemical byproduct?
Good question. Well, the scientists in Munich wanted to get to the bottom of it, so they extracted compounds from the mushroom, three main ones.
Okay, isolating the chemicals, standard approach.
And then they tested how these specific compounds interact with human taste receptors, the little sensors on our tongues.
Right, seeing which molecule actually flips the bitter switch, so to speak.
And they found the culprit, a compound called oligoporin D.
Oligoporin D. Got it.
Now, brace yourself for this comparison because it really highlights the potency.
Okay.
They calculate that you could taste just 1 gram of oligoporin D, even if it was dissolved in 106 bathtubs full of water.
Whoa! Okay, that's almost abstractly bitter. Hard to even picture.
Yeah.
106 bathtubs.
I know, right? It's just an insane level of intensity.
So how does it do that? How does one molecule pack such a punch?
Well, it seems oligoporin D is like a perfect key for certain bitter taste receptors in our mouths. It activates them very, very effectively.
Okay, so it binds really well to those receptors.
Yes. And here's the really cool part, connecting back to what you said about warnings.
Yeah.
These same receptors, they're also involved in detecting natural poisons.
Ah, okay. So it's hijacking the poison alert system.
Pretty much. It sets off the same alarm bells in our taste system that actual toxins do.
Yeah.
Incredibly loudly.
Which makes perfect sense from an evolutionary standpoint, right? That link between bitter taste and avoiding harmful stuff is crucial for survival. This compound just happens to trigger it intensely, even though it's not harmful itself.
So finding this isn't just like a fun fact for a science quiz. This research has bigger implications, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. For starters, it really adds to our basic knowledge. The researchers noted it expands our understanding of just how diverse natural bitter compounds can be.
And how they work on that molecular level, interacting with the receptors.
Exactly. We're getting a clearer picture of the chemical language of taste.
And thinking longer term, could this discovery lead anywhere practical? The reports mention food and health research.
Potentially, yes.
Yeah.
Understanding these super bitter compounds, even non-toxic ones, could maybe help in developing foods. Perhaps ways to mask bitterness in healthy foods? Or maybe even use tiny amounts to influence digestion or satiety.
Satiety, like feeling full.
Yeah, there's research exploring how activating certain receptors, including bitter ones in the gut, might influence appetite signals. It's early days, but understanding compounds like oligoporin D is part of that puzzle.
That's wild, using bitterness to potentially help manage appetite.
It's an active area of research, and another interesting angle here is the focus on fungi.
Right, you mentioned that earlier. Most bitterness research looked at plants.
Predominantly, yes. Flowering plants have been the main source for identifying bitter compounds. So finding the most bitter one in a fungus? Well, it opens up a whole new kingdom for this kind of chemical exploration.
Like a whole untapped library of potential taste compounds.
Precisely. Just shows there's so much chemical diversity out there in organisms we might overlook.
Okay, let's zoom out a bit. Bitter taste itself, it's one of the basics, right? Sweet, sour, salty, umami, and bitter.
The 5 canonical tastes, yeah.
But it sounds like the story of bitter isn't just happening on the tongue.
That's a really fascinating aspect. These bitter taste receptors, the TS2Rs, they're not just in the mouth.
Where else?
Well, research has found them in the stomach, in the intestines,
Okay, that makes some sense, maybe related to digestion.
but also, get this, in the heart and even in the lungs.
Wait, what? Bitter receptors?
Right.
In the heart and lungs? What? That seems completely unexpected.
It is really surprising. The exact roles they play in those locations are still being figured out. It's a hot area of research. But their presence strongly suggests bitter compounds might have physiological effects way beyond just taste perception.
So they might be involved in signaling or regulation in those organs somehow.
That's the idea. It implies our bodies interact with these taste molecules in much more complex ways than we initially thought.
Wow. So studying something like oligoporin D isn't just about mapping taste buds. It could actually help unlock some of these other biological mysteries related to bitterness.
Exactly. It provides a powerful chemical tool to probe these systems and understand our whole relationship with bitter substances, from conscious perception to unconscious physiological responses.
Okay, so let's try and wrap this up. The key takeaway seems to be this mushroom, Amaropostia stiptica,
Yep. Bitter bracket,
holds the current record for bitterness thanks to this compound, oligoporin D.
which is incredibly potent, activating our poison-detecting taste receptors, even though it's harmless.
And this discovery gives us new insights into taste, highlights the chemical richness of fungi, and might even point towards future applications in food or health.
It really underscores that fundamental link between taste, chemistry, and survival, but also hints at much broader roles for these molecules in our bodies.
It definitely leaves you thinking, doesn't it? Especially that non-toxic part.
Hmm.
So here's a final thought for you to chew on. If we've found this super bitter yet safe compound, how could that change things down the line? Could it alter how we approach food design, maybe even lead to unexpected medical uses we can't even imagine yet, just based on how it interacts with those receptors throughout the body?
It certainly makes you wonder what other secrets are hiding in plain sight, maybe even in your own backyard.